Hey guys, welcome to Max Electronics. I hope you're doing fantastic this evening, and in tonight's video we will be looking at this BOSE SurroundLink mini system and what I meant by how not to use a double ender. I'll explain all in a second. On the bench today we've got this BOSE SurroundLink mini speaker, Bluetooth speaker. It's got your typical auxiliary in, your little TF card, little 5-volt charging, and USB stick. So what happened was a friend of mine, a friend of a friend I should say, decided to charge the speaker and not knowingly used a double-ended USB port and plugged it in to charge through the actual USB-A port. And I'm not sure if it was left overnight or what happened, but then when a friend found out, said, oh, well, you know, you're not supposed to do that. That's actually for USB stick. And once he tried to plug it into this port, the device apparently blinked once and the light came on and off. So let's try that out now. I've got my power bank here with a USB tester. So we'll plug it in and we'll see if it is charging. So the supply is 5 volts. I'm still not seeing any amperage. So it's not drawing anything at all. Okay, let's pull it apart and have a look why. So to pull it apart, this is all solid mold from what I can see. The only way to get into it, I doubt there'll be anything under there. So the only way to pull this metal grill off, and usually I use tweezers, and you carefully just go to the edge and pull it upwards like that. So you can see it's coming off now. Just slowly edge by edge to minimize any damage. There we go, this end is already out. And there we have it. So now we've got a few screws, quite a few screws. That's actually not a speaker. That is just a rubber plate to create the woofer. So those are the actually ones. So you can see the middle one move. It actually sealed and the air pressure moves that out. Let me grab the screwdriver that will fit it. Okay, I found the screwdriver that fits, and let's remove all the bolts. And the last one. So now we hook it up carefully and see if we can get that out. Maybe help it from the back. Use a USB port and try to push it out. The whole thing's supposed to come out. Yep, it's coming out slowly. See if the pry tool will help. And here we have the whole assembly. So here it is. We've got one lithium cell, 2 speakers, and the amp board with a processor. So I'm going to get the amp board, and there's a microphone as well as from what I can see. We're going to get that out. And let's see what went wrong. So actually, first of all, let's measure the voltage on a lithium cell. Maybe it's got a protection on the cell itself, and it I can see a reset button. That's interesting. So reset button is located at the jack, as you can see. So to reset the device, you've got to stick something through the jack and reset it. Let's see if it'll turn on now, but I really doubt it. Yeah, nothing happens. Okay, let's measure the voltage on the cell and see if the cell has any voltage on it at all. The cell has no voltage at all. So I think the cell may be shorted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to desolder the cell and apply a power from the DC regulated supply, so 3.4 volts, maybe 500 milliamps, and we'll see if the unit will turn on. While I was waiting for soldering iron to charge, I've decided to trace down where this USB port is connected to. And if we have a look, the USB port is common to the negative and the chassis is common to the negative of all of it, straight to the battery. The positive, however, you can see that little track here connects to, oh my god, it's a magnetic screwdriver, connects to a little capacitor here for the filtering, which is common to ground. On the other side, that track flips and goes all the way here to this little MOSFET, which is A1SHB. And then that's your base, and that connects directly to the battery. So if you connect the battery here, the diode inside, if MOSFET is not triggered, the base is low, if it's high, if it's at 5 volts, the MOSFET, the diode inside the MOSFET prevents the power going into the USB port. Obviously, once this goes low, the MOSFET opens up and it powers the USB port. However, if you feed the power into the USB port, we've got a path for common, which is connects directly to ground, and positive would go straight over that track into this pin of the MOSFET, through the diode of the MOSFET, and back into the battery. So what I think has happened is that the battery got tripped. Either the BMS, here's the battery, I've already opened it up. Either the BMS, or well, the charge protection got tripped, or the battery could have, if that didn't have that board, that could have exploded. We'll have a look at the battery in a second. Right now, let's plug the board into the power supply. So I've got a power supply set to 4 volts and 500 milliamps. So we'll connect the positive and the negative. And let's see if this will turn on. If I get the button.
Enter to Bluetooth.
Okay, so that works. Let's see if there's a power on the USB port. Yep, there's power on the USB port. So that works fine. I'm going to turn that back off. And disconnect the power supply. So we know the problem is in the battery. Let's have a look at the battery. So let's try measuring. We know the output is 0.8 volts. Let's try seeing if there is any voltage on the cell itself. How many volts would there be? 0.8? Or would it be higher and it's just that the protection board is bad? We've got 1 volt. Okay. So the cell itself is bad. I'm going to try to remove the... Well, that's going to be disconnected anyway, so I'll cut that. And I'll cut that. So I'm going to apply the power to the BMS board itself and see if the output is actually high. Just in case if that board is blown. It's not actually a BMS board, it's just a protection board. I don't know why I'm calling it BMS. So we've got the positive and the negative. And let's see what voltage we'll get on the pin. So I'll enable the power supply now. And multimeter. Yeah, we've got voltage, 3.9 volts. Cool, so the board is fine. Now, if you want to see how I usually redo the batteries, so I'm going to get a new cell and attach it to this. Before, click on that video link up here if you're interested. Before I used to use soldering iron, and it's absolutely safe if you follow exactly what I do. Now I don't use it because I've bought a spot welder, so I'll be using a spot welder. So let me quickly redo the battery and repack it. I'll show you before I put it in a blue plastic. I'll show you what I've done. And then we'll hook it up to the device and test it out. See if that fixed the problem. The new cell is done. So I've spot welded it, the new nickel strips to the new cell and put this insulation in. So all now I have to do is just to stick it into the shrink wrap and wrap it just like the old one was. I wonder if it says the capacity. No, it doesn't say the old capacity. Well, this one is at 2200 milliamps. If I can get it into the shrink wrap. So yeah, let me shrink wrap it, and then I'll solder it to the board, and we'll see if the speaker will work. The new battery is now in place and soldered in. Always take care when soldering the batteries, because you've got two exposed terminals, and you don't want to short it out, especially when the battery is fully charged. So let's see if this will turn on.
Enter to Bluetooth.
Okay, that's working good. Now let's see if it'll charge. So I'll turn that off, and we'll get a battery bank. Well, we'll plug it in first. We will see if it'll take any charge, because the battery is almost full. It's 95% full. So we've got that connected. We want to see the lights, and let's plug it in and see. The red light comes on. And it's consuming, yep, 160 milliamps, because the battery is literally pretty much full. So I think we have fixed it. It's got a dodgy connection here. That's why you see the LED a bit flickery. So that's charging just fine. I will leave it overnight to make sure it's fully charged. But yeah, it's working just fine. It went up a bit. So nearly 200 milliamps. All good. So I'm going to reassemble that, and we'll test it out to make sure all the music and everything works with the USB. So before I put the grill on, I want to test it out. I've reassembled and put the screws in. So let's try the Bluetooth and see if that will work, and then we'll try the USB.
Enter to Bluetooth.
Okay, so it looks like it's connected.
Bluetooth connected.
Yep, let's try some music. Yep. Okay, so that works just fine. Alright, let's now try the USB, which I'm not going to play for long because this was copyright-free music. The Bluetooth one is copyrighted, so I'm just going to see if it works. The USB is copyrighted. Let's
Music.
Yep. Okay, so that works.
Enter radio in plane.
Oh. Okay, clearly radio works. And that's it. So thanks for watching this video on this BOSE speaker, how to fix it if you accidentally used a double ender or if it's died, you know, naturally from the battery aging or something like that. That just clicks back on. There are clips in there. So that's finished. This is the ready product. I'm going to give it back to a friend. I'm sure he'll be happy. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're also on Patreon if you want to check us out here. Thanks for supporting our channel. I will see you next time. My name is Max. Bye.